Hello, 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 and welcome to another edition of the review with Heather's Passion Academy. And I am Heather of Heather's Passion Academy. And today we're going to recap episode 14, season 8 of the Love and Marriage Huntsville. Well, this is part of the Love and Marriage, what do they call it? Franchise. Um, yeah, and so this is episode 14 entitled Girls Getaway from me, which is this episode, and then episode 15 leads up to the mid-season finale, basically. Well, 15 is the mid-season finale, and then they're taking a hiatus until whenever. So anyway, let's get this done because this show has really gotten to a point where I don't enjoy it. I just don't. I'm trying. I came back to it. I took a break from it and I'm about to take another break from it. I just don't like it. I'm trying, and I think the problem with this show is there's too much conflict at all times, and it seems like it's the same stuff over and over again. Like they haven't moved on from season 1, and we 8 seasons in, and we still dealing with the same stuff, and I'm kinda over it. We spent a lot of years talking about Melody and Martell specifically, and didn't have a storyline there, and now we just have storylines around who Melody is no longer friends with, basically, or who she met, whatever, whoever she bringing in to do her dirty work. And I'm just tired of it. This show is meh. Anyway, let's go ahead and get to it, so we can be done. The episode opens up with the ladies arriving in St. Thomas for the girls' trip. Mel and the 2 friends that are not castmates get there first. Um, and of course, she's going to be there first because she's the host. Now, here's my thing. They get there and they kiki and everything. And I wonder how come she just didn't go and bring Sonny with her before all the ladies came so that she could have some friends to kiki with, since she told Sonny that the ladies wasn't checking for her. I think that would have been a better, let her be there with these ladies here, since they're trying to, mend their relationships and whatnot. Anyway, so they enter the villa and she lets Shanita and Lauren. Shanita's the tall one, Lauren is the short one right there. She go ahead and tell them to choose their rooms before any of the ladies get there. Um, and then she's like, I'm gonna go ahead and do the room assignments for everyone else because we don't want no drama. Now she says in the confessional that she just ain't putting nothing together and everything. And I find that hard to believe, only because of the fact that Melody is very much a well prepared person at all times. She seems to always be a couple of steps ahead, always be, she's organized. She's a former teacher, so if you know anything about teachers, they hardly ever are disorganized or haven't thought, 74 steps ahead. So I don't believe that at all. Um, but I just think it's a good way to kind of take herself out of a situation. I just yeah, I think, there's a lot of things I can say, and I'm gonna say this one. Melody don't like to have accountability. And you fight me if you want to, but she don't do well with accountability for herself. She does well with telling everybody else about the accountability they need to have, but she don't do too well for herself. So anyway, so now she gives her reason in the confessionals why she assigns the room the way she did. So the breakdown is Shanita and Lauren get their own room. Nell gets her own room. Sunny gets her own room because, she said the girls ain't checking for her. Trisha and Stormy are going to room together. Then Kim, Tisha, and quote, plus one or Destiny room together. I'll tell you my thoughts on that later. But that's what the setup is for now. So over at the airport, I'm guessing, you got Tisha, Kimmy, Stormy, Nell, and Trish. They're at the airport. They're trying to get their luggage. They complaining that they ain't got no hubbies there to do all of the dirty work that they're used to having them hubbies do. This one right here talking about how much she got separation anxiety and she don't want to be away from her dude. I'm like, girl, calm down. He gonna be there when you get back. And if he ain't, then I don't know what to tell you. Stormy just said, she don't really like picking up her own bags or whatever, and I get that. Um, but everybody else like this what girls trip do you you gotta get your own stuff. I'm like, yes ma'am, you gotta get your own stuff. So it's kind of a little fun banter about like when you're on a girls trip, you have to deal with your own luggage. I get that. And hopefully they are really looking forward to having this girl trip. So while they're getting their luggage together, Stormy pops up and they're like, oh, Stormy's supposed to be on the trip. I didn't know she was coming on the trip. So everybody has that kind of awkward, hey, girl, they didn't know she was going to be on the trip. And so they're like, what's up, Stormy? And she's like, hey, I didn't know you was coming on the trip with us. And she's like, yeah, hey, whatever. So my question, though, is even though Melody told her that she don't think any of the ladies were checking for her, why then would you really want to come on a trip where the majority of the people ain't feeling you? I'm just saying, why would you put yourself right in the line of fire? And the only answer I have for that is because she's still part of production. Anyway, and they need a storyline. Let's just say that. So they're on their way to the villa and they're talking about how nice it is there and everything. And everybody just kind of having a little chatter. They got on a little bus on their way to the little house. Um, and then, Stormy says she has a little bit of separation anxiety from the baby and the husband. Tisha, let's say Tisha and Trisha are like, that'll change once you had that second baby. And and everybody laughed and they said, well, is that what it is? And they're like, yeah, I'm gonna agree with that because there is a point where you maybe, you know, like, oh, I miss my child. How will they do without me? And then there's a point once you have like the subsequent children, you be like, y'all be fine. There's food in the pantry. I'm gone. I think you just have to live a little. She got a little baby and that's her miracle baby. So, it's gonna take a little bit more for her to be okay. So I get that. He's still a toddler. Anyway, so while they're talking about having kids and everything, you sometimes you need to step back too to just, get back to being you. Stormy asks, no, let's see. Sunny asks Stormy, y'all, these names. Sunny asks Stormy is if she's trying for a second child. Stormy says, well, yeah, they're gonna go via surrogate this time. So um hopefully the process will be completed by the end of the year. So then Sunny lets her know that she's also doing IVF and she's had failed treatments and they're gonna try again. And Stormy is, she sympathizes with her and everything. No, Stormy's heart always goes out to these people. And I'll say, a lot of folks have negative views about Stormy. I was one of the people that had a very negative view about her, I guess a couple of seasons ago. But one thing I noticed about her is she's very sensitive, but she's also very caring and concerning. Because if you look back at the other seasons, like even with Tiffany being Tiffany, she was the one that reached out to her and asked her, she was like, hey, talking about the whole postpartum depression thing. So I think Stormy is a lot of times just misunderstood in the way that she says and look at her mama though, look who she was raised by. So, it be happening. So, she gives her the sympathy and everything. And, so it seems like everybody has a mutual understanding at that point. So they arrive at the villa and everyone seems to be in a good mood. Sunny says she hopes to bond with Mel. And I'm like, girl, whatever. And they're all having a good time looking at how beautiful that view. Like that is postcard quality right there. I would love to go there. I think I'm gonna put that on my list of places I might want to go. So anyway, they get there, they have their drinks. Melody lets them know that they should go find their rooms. And this is where things start to spiral out of control because as everyone's looking for their rooms, some people are okay, and then most of them are not okay because, of course, Sunny has her own space, and then Trisha and um, Stormy. I don't know why I got the paper in front of me and still drawing a blank. Trisha and Stormy have, they go to their room. They're like, oh, okay, we're gonna be roommates. Nell totally loses it because she can't find the name card. Um, she's saying she don't have a bed. Melody tries to explain to her that when the cards were printed, hers was left out. She didn't mean anything by it, but she has the room that's in between the rooms with the 2 beds and the 3 beds, and a lot of this stuff is very messy, I feel. Um, and she tells her, "Well, you have your own room because 'cause you're the oldest," and she like, "You need to quit with all this stuff," and she just going on and on about her name was not printed, and you need to tell them people to print my name out, and I'm like, "Now see." Whew. Anyway, so then, she's trying to get her together and, she's just like, "Listen," and then you got, Shanita's like, "Oh, well, um" you can have my room. And she, I don't want your room. I can just bunk with Lauren. I'm like, y'all should have bunked together anyway, because okay. So it's a lot of people not feeling good. So then you have Tisha and Kimmy also feeling a little slighted because of the size of the room they have and the number of beds. Also, their room, they said it was a junior suite or something like that. And they all have to share one bathroom. It's 3 beds in there. So it's a lot going on. Um, so they're letting her know. Well, Sunny, let me say it like that. Sunny lets Mel know that um she may want to go check on them because looks like they're mad. And so Mel is like, "Child, what's going on?" So she goes to check on her and everything. And let me say this. People got to use other words on the emotion wheel. There are so many other emotions other than mad, upset, angry. Sometimes you just may be a little confused, or you may be disappointed or hurt. Those words are also on the emotion wheel, but we go straight to mad. And mad evokes a certain emotion out of everyone when people say someone's mad. Anyway, and that sets the tone for conversation when you constantly say mad. So that's where I'm going with this. So anyway, Mel goes out on the lanai to talk to um Kimmy and Tisha and lets them know her mindset behind why she did what she did. So she's, saying, I hear that y'all are upset and you're mad. And they say, well, no, not mad. I'm a little disappointed because the room's very small. And, I would think that, the time we spent together in the past, blah, 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 it should mean more. So Tisha feels very offended because she feels like the rooms are a reflection of Mel's feeling for the people on the trip. And I see how it can be seen that way because it seems like the bigger rooms are for the people that she values most, and then she just kind of push everybody else into the smaller rooms, the people that she's either had it out with or disagreed with and everything. And the thing about her is when she disagrees with people, she isn't always going to just confront stuff, even though she says she does. She does a lot of what do you want to call it? I don't have the words right now, but she does a lot of subtle things a lot of times. And I've noticed that over the years. Again, if you are a mellow meter or a male fan, don't come over here with that. I'm just telling you what I see. I'm not a fan of none of these ladies. but I can see things for what I can see them for because I done lived in this world. So y'all just have to be okay with that people can see certain things. So yes, it can be misconstrued as she put them in a smaller room because she was aware of who um Tisha was bringing, or it could have been just like she said. However, if I had my druthers on setting these rooms up, because it is a quote work trip and these are your coworkers, right? So you want to make sure that if you're on a business trip, you take care of the coworkers because it's a company trip. And the way I see it is the OGs, which are the original cast members, should have their own room because of seniority, right? Let's just make this all business. Seniority means they should get the bigger room. So you got Mel, Tisha, and Kimmy. They should get their own rooms. Okay. All right. So they get their own rooms. Um, who else would get their own room? Stormy would get her own room because she's a cast member. She's a regular cast member. Nell would get her own room also because not only is she a regular now, but she is the oldest. So that's the first 4 rooms. Okay. Now you're saying that nobody's checking for Sunny. However, you brought 2 friends who are not castmates. And from what I understand, neither is Sunny, the kind of friend of the cast. So the 3 of them could have been in that small room so that they could get to know each other. And so Sunny could have some quote backup since you said nobody's checking for her. And then you put Destiny and Trisha together. Why? Because y'all say Destiny and Trisha are friends because Trisha is the one that's doing the training for everyone. And also she's the last one of the recurring friends of the show. Basically, all those friends of the show should room together. To me, it's just as simple as that. That way you won't have any problems. But that's just me. But since that didn't happen, we're going to see that there's going to be some problems. So Sonny is telling Nell while they're all out there talking. And this is again, I feel like Sonny is just jumping into stuff like, hey, it looks like they arguing. You should go out there. And I'm like, either going to be in front of the camera or behind the camera, but don't do both because that's what she's doing. She's trying to me, it seems like she's not as much as engaged with the ladies in there as much as she's trying to make it seem, trying to make stuff more than it is. Let me just say it like that. You ain't gonna make me like her. So everybody's looking around, them right there. I can't trust her either. So Nell goes out there to quote diffuse the situation outside, even though it had kind of solved itself. Um, So her input really didn't help. Wasn't really needed. So, you know, again, not needed. Tisha and Kimmy was like, no, it's fine. We're not going to dwell on this. We're just going to move forward with the accommodations. Nell was like, y'all came on my trip and things wasn't what it's supposed to be. And you sucked it up. And you're going to have to suck it up like I'm going to have to suck it up. And I'm like, Nell. So Kimmy's like, look, ain't no need for all that. Just please. And you could tell that the problem was mainly that they were trying to squash it. Kimmy was already kind of mad anyway. And then Nell coming in there just put her back on a 10 too. Cause Nell comes in at about, 72 and a half most times. But anyway, Tisha was like, hey, everything is over. Calm down, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, you don't need to be mad. Just don't stop telling us what we, need to do, basically. Just we got it figured out. And then she stood in front of her and pulled her tank top up because she said, because your nipples are showing. So then she's, don't put your hands on me. And she gets to going back and forth, sounding like a chihuahua child, just going over because she's like, you ain't gonna put your hand on me. And I'm like, Nell is she very much misinterprets situations very quickly. And she jumps to ready to quote fight. And she says she gonna fight everybody. And I'm gonna tell you, the way she walking back like that tell me she ain't finna fight nobody. Anyway, so now Kimmy's upset. She need to go, calm down. Tisha was like, she just gonna need a minute and everything. Nell and Mel had to have an aside because Mel was like, you was doing a little much. And Nell, like I said, I think they just need to let the liquor go. None of them handle their liquor well. I think after one drink, that should be everybody's maximum because they don't be acting right. Anyway, now everybody's calmed back down, and we got the carnival girls coming in to entertain them and bring them, I guess, their guest bags or whatever it is. Anyway, um, Melody tells them it's time for them to eat. Sunny's looking over there, however she's looking, and they are asking her what's wrong. She said, I'm just hungry. So then Shanita asked everybody where they're from, and we can tell Shanita has been set up to be the moderator for the conversation, even though I think it's not needed. I think if you're trying to get your people back on track, you need somebody that actually is not biased to come in and and have a conversation with everybody. But I don't know. She just rubs me the wrong way. She asked not Destiny. She asked Sunny where she's from. She said, "Oh, I'm from St. Louis." She was like, "Oh yeah, I don't want to fight her because she a Midwest girl. We shouldn't be even having conversations about fighting." And that also, again, rubs me the wrong way. So they're talking about where people are from. Tisha said, they were just talking about being from the South, being from the Midwest, da 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 da. Tisha also wanted to know why did Mel specify that she was bringing her single friends on the trip. And Mel was like, so things could be clear. And I'm like, come on, Tisha. No, don't say that. Don't. But that's just what you do. That's what everybody be doing. They be saying the wrong stuff at the wrong time. And I want them to stop. Stop saying stuff because Tisha, it don't even matter. It don't matter. So they're talking about how single friends are more fun and da 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 da. And I think when it comes to stuff like that, I just think that's a perspective thing. It just depends on who the people are, not necessarily um their marital status. But like, you can have fun as a married person on a girls trip. Yeah. Yep. You can just not do single things and, and have fun vicariously through your single friends. It's possible. Um, so they get into conversations about friendship and all this stuff. And Shanita is asking Tisha about can she be cordial or can she sit down and break bread with somebody that she don't like? It was a lot of weirdness happening there. And well, Tisha was like, "Yeah," and Storm was like, "She don't like me when she's sitting next to me." And so it's just all kind of craziness happening. And Mel is talking about so before that she says, "Oh, well, can you sit next to, you can get along with someone and all this kind of stuff. You can get along with someone that you don't like." She was like, "Yeah, I mean, we're all adults." So Shanita leans over to Melody and says, "Watch her." Now, to me, that's inflammatory. And so when it was asked, what do you mean by that? She was like, well, you just someone to watch. If you can get along with your enemies, da da da. And I'm like, people you don't get along with aren't necessarily enemies. Let me just say that. Sometimes you just don't get along with people because you don't get along with them. And sometimes that's just what it is. Um, and I think a lot of people at the table were starting to become offended by the conversation that was happening. So then Mel brings up, well, Trish got a problem with Sonny because of Destiny. And Trish like, no, I don't have a problem with her. I ain't finna roll like that. And so Mel explains what, the whole situation with Sonny and Destiny and boy, all this stuff. And Shanita is like, oh, what defines a friend? I don't know about this. Again, I feel like when you're fed information and you're not willing to listen to the conversation, it makes it hard to have a dialogue because what's happening is she already knows enough, but maybe not everything. She knows enough about the situation to keep digging and digging. And again, I don't think that it was appropriate for her to have the conversation with everybody there. But since everybody putting stuff out, they like, all right, we're gonna put everything out. And it goes downhill very quickly because you don't have a moderator. You just got everybody yelling. Anyway, they were upset because they said they too loyal to Destiny about this whole Sunny situation. And what they were saying was, hey, she was under the impression that they were friends. And I know a lot of times Melody is talking about, well, they supposed to be my friends, but Melody made it clear. And I'm gonna keep saying this. She made it clear a couple of years back that they were her coworkers, not her friends. And so they've been acting accordingly. A lot of it seems like the rest of them are pretty close and hang out, but it seems like when it comes to Melody and them, the friendship ends when the cameras go off. And you can't, which one you want. Y'all either gonna be coworkers or y'all gonna be friends, or you're gonna be able to have a friendly relationship with the people you work with. And it doesn't seem like it goes that way. Um, anyway, so then they were talking about Destiny coming. Shanita wanted to know why would Tisha invite her, knowing that this woman hurt her and everything. And I think that's, really weird. Because, first Melody was like, man, F Destiny, da da da. Um, the thing about it is Tisha shows a text that she sent to Melody about Destiny knowing. So this was not a blind side of her going on this trip, because she asked her and she was asking her if it's okay. She didn't say anything. So I guess the understanding was maybe it was fine, or they could at least be in the same room together. This Shanita chick calls everybody the ops and everything. And again, I don't like the fact that she's continually talking for Melody. And she's saying stuff that either Melody wants to say, or she's saying stuff and making it 10 times worse than it has to be, or than it already is. She was saying, you don't this woman said this woman has that woman hurt her, yada yada yada. Melody over there trying to be self-righteous like she always do, honey, baby. She be self-righteous. Um, and here's the thing that I have a problem with. She brought Tisha's cousin on the show, even though she said she knew her first. She brought her on the show, even though Tisha no it was understood that the two of them were at odds at the time and they hadn't been cool for a minute. And, she was hurt as well, but because it's not her, then it's okay. But when people do her wrong, she immediately, cuts them. She wants to act as though everyone has done things specifically to her, as though she hasn't done things back. I want them all to grow up, honestly. And I need this woman here to stop thinking that she is the therapist or the counselor for this group, because this group's problems are deeper than she is equipped to deal with as far as trying to tell them what to do. And I hope it doesn't ruin the relationship that they're trying to rebuild, because I don't care for her. I just don't. Anyway, this is where the episode ends, and the next episode they'll be going to I guess we're gonna see the end of this trip. I guess that's what we're gonna be doing. Looking at the end of what happened on this girl's trip. I hope it don't stretch over another episode, but knowing Carlos King is gonna stretch over another episode. But yeah, what I just wanna say though is I've looked this chick up, and she seems to have a decent following on Instagram and everything. And I don't take anything from what people do um, in their personal life and everything. All of us hope to have, people that would be willing to buy our products and listen to us and everything. But I clearly see that she's there to be the mouthpiece that Melody is not going to be. And I don't think that's cool. I don't think that's going to work out to help mesh things together. And then my thing is, as soon as something else happens, that Melody won't like, she gonna be on the outs. Cause again, where's Tiffany? Yeah, Tiffany's still dealing with postpartum depression, and we ain't heard nothing else from her. So, and she came. Everybody that came on this show, other than Letitia and Kimmy, came on as attack dogs, and Latricia. I take that. And they all end up being attack dogs for a minute, and then next thing you know, they're no longer. We don't hear from them no more. And Destiny came on the same way. She came on talking about the chicken man. So this is a pattern. And if y'all don't want to see it, don't see it. That's fine. But this is what I see. Anyway, we'll see what happens next episode. But in the meantime, as always, thanks so much for tuning in. Please feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Be nice in them comments, though. And I'd be honored if you support my channel by liking, subscribing, hitting the notification bell so you won't miss the next upload, and sharing this review with a friend or two or several. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.